Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it's Saturday, which means it is Star Trek Day. And I am joined once again by my good friends, the One Ton Hammer,
Hello.
Irate Prostate,
Howdy.
and Skep Talk.
Hello, everybody.
And today, oh wow, that's very loud. Thank you, YouTube, for now playing through the speaker. Okay, there we go. So, today we are talking about The Undiscovered Country, which is the sixth movie in the franchise, and I would argue probably the most canonically important one, because it covers a lot of Trek history that we hear about in TNG, but never actually see. Specifically the Kittimer Accords, all that stuff. So I would argue that The Undiscovered Country is probably the most lore important to tying everything together. Because it involves the explosion of the moon Praxis, which is tied back together in the episode Flashback from Voyager, with Sulu and the Excelsior. We have we have the trial of Kirk and McCoy, which has Michael Dorn as their lawyer.
That was cool.
Which was cool. And then we have the peace conferences at Kittimer, the actual ending of the Klingon War, which is mentioned several times in TNG, including the episodes where we, involving Worf's father and the a few years after the Kittimer Accords, the attacks on Kittimer, and the cooperation with the Romulans.
Right. So, the
this,
Romulan betrayal happens like after this movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we haven't met Duras at this point. That's what I was trying to pin down.
But I think that might be Kim Peck, who is the high judge on the court. It sounds like the same actor.
Yeah, Red Foreman's in it too.
Yes, he is. Kurtwood Smith as President of the Earth.
Yeah. He's a Klingon, man.
Or President of the United Federation of Planets, I should say.
That hair looks like he should have been playing in Poison. Saying.
But this is I don't know if it's because Star Trek V was so awful, but after that, it's like this is a huge breath of fresh air, honestly. It's a good movie. It's back to your Trek roots, replete with a mystery to solve, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing better in a Trek movie or a Trek episode than the crew trying to solve something, right?
Phasers are fired in anger.
Yep. And it's just from beginning to end, it moves well. There's no, in some of the movies we've talked about, we've mentioned that there's some, scenes that just drag, right? This movie doesn't drag, I find. It's paced well, the scenes are done well, the acting is done well, the dialogue is good, the plot is good,
The subplots are good.
The subplots are good.
It's just like solid, man.
We're going to have a subplot where you go to a prison planet. Right on. Yes.
Yes. And that is another good Trek trope, because we've had members of different crews in prison before. And they always do it well.
Yeah.
Like the shoot.
They just really did that really well.
The shoot from Voyager is a good example of a prison episode.
Yeah.
That's the one with the lady captain?
No, yes.
Okay.
Bones' face when Kirk kisses the mom.
What is it with you?
What is it with you, man? It's so funny.
You still think we're finished? More than ever.
More than ever. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie didn't take itself seriously, but it was good, man.
It was good.
It's fast.
Yeah.
And it was almost 2 hours long. So
Yep.
But it was, and the Klingons. See, these are my favorite Klingons in this movie. Out of the from Search for Spock through till this movie, these are my favorite Klingons. I don't know why. Like General Chang, I really like General Chang.
Christopher Plummer. How can you go wrong with Christopher Plummer? And they just basically said, "We want you to overact," and he said, "Can do."
Yeah.
Well, and David Warner gets dicked again.
Yeah.
With the shit part.
Yeah. That's okay. He redeems
what he does
himself.
well.
Yeah,
he redeems himself in later Trek, but
he has an excellent line though. The whole thing with him on the table, he reaches up over his head with his hand and he says, "Don't let it end this way."
Yes.
What a great line! Holy shit!
That whole scene.
Don't let it end this way,
Captain.
Very, very California toking, smoking dude kind of sound of a voice.
And the whole scene, where McCoy starts giving him CPR.
Mm-hmm.
And you again another tour de force from DeForest Kelley.
You can actually hear the panic in his voice. Jim, I don't even know his anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a very easy scene to overplay, underplay, play it badly, make it silly, unbelievable,
Awkward,
or bad, awkward, stupid, and DeForest Kelley just hit it right on the head. I thought.
The band's too good.
Yeah.
Right. The music's mediocre, but the band is good, so they make it sound good.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about clipping this movie is that you can clip the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really had to say, you want to use that, but I can't use this. There's too many clips.
Yeah.
Kim Cattrall's great in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. Again, this movie is full of. It's like it took all of the good plot points from TNG and put them into a movie with the original series crew. You've got the tie-in to Kittimer. You've got a treacherous Vulcan, right? Which happens in the same season, because this is in 1991. This movie, so season.
This is in '89.
Oh, YouTube movie says 91.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, I sure got that
89
wrong.
was Search for Final Frontier. I thought.
You might be right. I may have it scrambled. I may have it scrambled.
So this is just after the season that had the Vulcan pretending to be a Romulan pretending to be a Vulcan on the Enterprise in the episode Data's Day. Right? So we've got this Vulcan who's pretending to be this is all of the awesome plot points we have sprinkled in between original series and TNG. It's the perfect send-off movie for the old for the cast. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the perfect way to send them off, to decommission them, as it were.
Mm.
It's
Undiscovered Country is 1991.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was right. Yay.
12/6/1991.
So this came out during season 5 of Next Gen, I believe, or season 4 of Next Gen. So it, like I said, it ties everything together. Like even in Kirk's final log, where he says, it's now the next crew of the Enterprise, and it's their future now, and he even puts in the "we're no man," and then he stops himself and goes, "where no one has gone before."
The Next Generation.
Does he really stutter there? Because I think he said it really fluid.
No, he doesn't stutter, but he pauses. He goes, "where no man
or no one,
where no one has gone before." Like it's a very interesting way of putting it, and it works. Like it really works. But there are some really funny parts to this movie too. And I like them because they managed to bring some comedy to some very otherwise dark situations. Like Kirk's just about to find out who set everything up, and he gets beamed up, and he's, "God damn it, son of a bitch!"
You want to go back?
No, and
The guy who ordered all this shit was.
McCoy's like, "No, I don't want to go back."
It was cold enough, but we're just about to find out. That was interesting.
It was something that really wasn't represented very well. I mean, granted, there's white dust everywhere to make it look like snow, whatever they use chemically, but I didn't really see anything coming out of people's mouths. There wasn't it was supposed to be not just cold, but like bitterly, bitterly cold. Like really, because that guy froze to death in like 60 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
So it must have been like minus 100 degrees or something like that. But you really don't get that sense from it. Everything seems actually pretty warm.
Yeah.
That was a miss. That's like one of the...
That's a nit.
Yeah. That's like
it's a small thing. Interesting thing about the planet Praxis, if we can go back to that just for a second.
I cannot confirm the existence of Praxis.
That there's a lot of Soviet symbolism with the Klingons. The explosion on Praxis was supposed to be symbolic of Chernobyl. Yeah, and also I don't know if you know this, but this is just something that I've spent too much time reading bad sociology. Karl Marx was a sociologist, and if you take social psychology, you read a lot of Karl Marx, and he used the word praxis a lot in the praxis of communism, the praxis of socialism, as opposed to theoretical socialism. It turns out he actually was the chief popularizer of the word praxis as in the sense that we use it today. It was used in kind of a slightly different way, and I don't want to get into the ins and outs of it, but it's yet another Russian communist tie-in with the Klingons that I've always thought was kind of interesting. That you see that again and again with the movies, particularly the movies, Star Trek movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
True story.
Sweet, dude.
Well, sorry, that's a real stream stopper.
No, that's
nothing like linguistics to bring it to a grinding halt.
Interesting thing to consider.
Yeah,
makes you think.
Well, getting up to the 50,000 foot level again on this whole movie. The thing that I really loved about this movie was it was a rip snorting adventure.
Yes.
And
what did this movie not have?
Nothing.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It had romance. It had sadness. It had
Action,
action. It
mystery,
had mystery. Yeah. It had
conflict.
Treachery. It had betrayal. It
yeah.
had
Mediocre effects in
it
places.
it had people
Sorry.
real introspection, thinking, are we obsolete, have we outlived our usefulness?
Yeah.
Mm.
It
That was
That's
a
the old person thing there.
yeah.
well,
that Spock was actually talking about Shatner and Nimoy when they put that line in there.
Mhm.
yeah,
The two of us have grown,
Yeah.
so yeah.
And so interesting thing, Leonard Nimoy was the executive producer on this, and executive producers are the ones who make all the money. They make giant amounts of money. When you see executive producer, that's the guy who is making money or losing money. That's a person who gets a very nice cut of all the money that comes in. And he had a lot of control in this, and I think it was. I think he did a great job.
As always.
Yeah. He just, what a mind, what a fine mind that guy had.
And the things that he said in this movie, like when he's talking to Valeris in his quarters at the beginning of the movie, and he's like, you have to have faith. And she goes, is that logical? And he goes, logic. Logic is the beginning of wisdom, Valeris, not the end. And it's like, damn, dude. Like, Spock is...
You're coming along, Spock.
Or the, when he melds with Valeris at the end, when we find out that she's a traitor, and she doesn't know where the peace talks are. And Scotty goes, we're dead. And Spock goes, I've been dead before. Let's fix this shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yes, Spock.
I love that line. I've been dead before. That
Colonel that's hawkish at the beginning when they're meeting together. The black dude was he part of the conspiracy?
Yeah,
because like he was all sweating and shit during that thing. I'm figuring, okay, he's got to be part of it.
No, he was.
Why did Kirk ask Spock? You guys just brought something up to my mind here. Why did Kirk ask Spock to ask her where the conference was, and why did Spock do it? Because Spock already knew how to find out. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe it's not the first thing that popped in his head. I think with Klingon, with Vulcans, that's kind of like a taxing kind of deal, and they use it as a last resort because it is invasive.
It doesn't make sense to me. Why would he violate her so intimately when he knew how to get it himself? Why would he force her to tell
Maybe
them?
he wanted to tap
because it's the human part of him. He's angry.
Yeah.
That was him giving into his human side, I think, because he was pissed off.
So Spock is a mental rapist?
Yes.
He can be what he wants to be.
Okay.
He can be.
I think. Yeah.
Ruined my entire perception of the man.
I think he let himself get angry, honestly.
I had to turn on my air conditioners. Are you guys picking it up?
Nope.
No,
not at all. We're kind of jumping around the film. Another thing that I liked was late in the movie. I really liked the fact that Scotty got to shoot the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Scotty doesn't get to do that raw heroic stuff that often.
Nope.
He's generally behind the scenes guy, a helper, an auxiliary guy, but he doesn't usually get the inline operational thing. And man, he got to just walk up to that guy and shoot him.
That was kind of an odd framing the way they did that with the actual pulling of the trigger, because it looks like he puts his elbow on his knees before he shoots. Did you catch that?
I didn't notice that. I was just.
It's like a pause where he goes like he sees the guy, then he kind of like leans forward and puts his elbow on his knee, then he shoots. I was like, why didn't he just fire? Why did he do that first? Maybe better aim.
Maybe to
steady himself. Yeah, but it just seemed odd that the director would put that in there.
Who knows what the actors was going on in his mind as he shot that? Because I'm sure he was feeling like maybe this is my moment to.
I wish I can get the Laserdisc or VHS, or not really the VHS because it's so low resolution. But I wish I can get the Laserdisc copy of this, because there are scenes missing from this movie.
Laserdisc, man? Do you have one? Do you have a Laserdisc player?
No. I mean, I would like to get a Laserdisc copy of this. Not an actual Laserdisc
bingo
record, but someone who has it digitized from the Laserdisc, because the Laserdisc is different from the Blu-ray or the DVD.
So there are other scenes that
scenes that you probably have seen that you no longer remember because it was in the initial theater release.
Because I saw this at a theater.
It was quickly replaced in theaters. There's a character in the movie that you don't see in the DVD or Blu-ray version. His name is Colonel West. And they're having a meeting about going to war with the Klingons, and Colonel West has a what do they call those things? Or it's foldable paper, and you can take a wand and point to things in the paper, then flip the paper over top, like a pedestal kind of thing.
Okay.
And then point the other thing, then flip another page over. Something you've drawn on. In any case, they're talking about what would happen if they went to war, and Colonel West has a classic line that you'll never hear again unless somebody who has a Laserdisc. He says, "Frankly, Mr. President, we would clean their chronometers." And also, the guy that Scotty shoots who falls out of the window, when he lands on the ground, there's a scene where they walk up and it turns out that it's a fake mask and it's Colonel West underneath. Those scenes have been removed.
It actually says that. I'm reading here in the Memory Alpha. It says, let's see, he's about to shoot. At that moment, Scott kicks in the door to the assassin's hiding place and shoots him just before he can kill Valeris. He falls through the glass pane to the floor. The commander-in-chief and Colonel Worf rush to the body and find out it's not a Klingon, it's Colonel West.
Yeah. I've seen the Laserdisc version. Well, I actually saw the VHS version, which is the same as a Laserdisc.
I think we don't have the Undiscovered Country VHS at the cottage.
You don't get that at all from the version I just rewatched.
Yeah, you probably watched the DVD or the Blu-ray version.
Exactly. Yeah,
they don't
DVD
have those
version.
They don't have those scenes.
Huh.
It looks like the more traditional, like TNG Klingons. And I'm looking at a photograph of I guess that's supposed to be West. Because
Colonel West is Rene Auberjonois. He's Odo.
Oh shit!
Oh really?
And I'm not sure, but that may have been the reason why he was pulled.
Well, no, he's the guy with the rifle at the end.
Yes, the guy Scotty shoots. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that's the reason behind it.
So that is Colonel Worf. That's his name.
West.
Colonel West.
No.
Colonel Worf. Yeah. That's Worf. That is, and that's Michael Dorn too.
So Pincalo has a big problem with that, and the more that I think about it, he's right.
What's that?
So Worf, Michael Dorn's character from TNG, this is the son of Moog, right? Mm-hmm. He was 6 at the Khitomer massacre, which happened after the Khitomer peace treaty, right? Mm-hmm. So so there's no way that Worf could have been Colonel Worf. So, who is Colonel Worf, and why is Michael Dorn playing him? Because that's very confusing.
He played an advocate. I don't think his rank was ever mentioned.
I remember this now. Okay, I'm looking at the extra scenes and
They've got
edits.
listed as Colonel Worf in here.
He's not? Okay.
The original 1992 home video release added back in the Operation Retrieve scenes. Originally, the scene in the president's office ended with the line, "This president is not above the law." The scene between Spock, Scotty, and Valeris directly before the trial, and the unmasking of Colonel West on Kittimer, just a few shots are added. Colonel Worf touching West's blood and saying, this is not Klingon blood. I remember that. Between Cartwright trying to escape and Sulu stopping him, the actual unmasking and the CNC and Worf looking at each other directly after. These scenes remained in all subsequent commercial releases until 2009. The 2003 special edition DVD release added in glimpses of Cartwright, Chang, and Nanklus during Spock and Valeris mind meld, and slight alternate takes during her interrogation on the bridge. The original cut, albeit with the 2-to-1 aspect ratio, was present on the 1993 dubbed German VHS release. It goes on and on and on. But anyway, there's a so there evidently are quite a few little changes.
Aaron Telfer just says Colonel Worf is the grandfather of Lieutenant Commander Worf.
Oh, okay.
Really? That's interesting.
Very interesting.
It's amazing how things change depending on the location of the release. Like
So that's actually Michael Dorn's grandfather?
So Michael Dorn So Michael Dorn played his own grandfather.
Edward Dorn, Michael Dorn's real life grandfather. But like I was saying, it's amazing how things are changed depending on the location that something is released.
Oh yeah.
I have a movie that I just played with that had an issue like this that I had to figure out a way to solve. The movie is called Dancing at the Blue Iguana. And it's got Daryl Hannah and Alyssa, not Alyssa Milano. Well, anyway, it's about a bunch of strippers. It's kind of like the preview to that movie about strippers. In any case, Showtime. The version that's available in the United States is the DVD version. There is no Blu-ray available in the United States.
Interesting.
There is a Blu-ray available in Russia, but the audio for the Russian is only Russian. There's no English audio on the disc. If you were to go to Russia, buy the disc, put the disc in, and then look at the disc, there is no English on it. It's Russian only.
So you have to learn Russian.
You have to learn Russian.
That's not that much. So
what
Russian's
I did was
easy.
I got a copy of the Blu-ray version of the movie, and I also got a copy of the DVD version of the movie. I loaded them both into DaVinci Resolve, pulled the audio of the Russian off, pulled the video, the DVD off, and matched the video to the audio, and ended up with an English 1080p version of the movie.
You did that in Resolve?
DaVinci Resolve. And it was easy.
That's
you
funny.
know what? That's why I use Resolve, because it's easy to use.
And it doesn't crash like Vegas does.
Right. It also stays up. Yeah.
It just says, no, I can't do that, instead of crashing. But yeah, it worked. I was stunned. I was like, oh, there's got to be some difference in timing. People's mouths are not going to move to the same, somewhere along there's going to be an additional scene. Everything's going to be totally screwed.
Yeah, it worked all the way through.
It worked all the way through, and I played and watched the entire movie just to make sure.
Nice.
And it's perfect.
I really appreciate fan edits like that, man. It's cool.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
I was stunned.
I'm just. That just makes me happy.
I was stunned that it actually worked, because I tweeted about it. I'm like, this isn't going to work, is it? I actually said that in the tweet. There's no way this is going to work. Sure enough, I was like, I put
the same to the 10th of a second.
I just unlinked them, and
That's crazy.
Deleted the ones I didn't want, moved the other two together, linked them, and played them, and they were perfect. I didn't have to do shit.
Oh Lord, it's hard.
Actually, that's a little bit of a lie because the Russian version has a little bit of a thing in the beginning,
a prologue or something.
No, nothing even that
or...
much. It's just they added a production company logo at the beginning.
Okay.
Well, that's what I mean. So I had to just move it
just
a little
take
bit.
The time out. Yeah.
But once I moved it so the first scene matched up, and then everything after that was perfect after that.
Right.
I actually went to the end, and you could see the audio ending at the same time the movie ended.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
That can't be right.
Way to go, dude.
God,
I went back and I couldn't believe it. I linked them together and I played it, and they played perfectly all the way through. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
So is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before Hammer has his because Hammer has a little video.
No, it's Hammer time.
It's Hammer.
Never heard that one before.
Can't touch this.
Yeah, you can. Perfectly acceptable.
Oh my.
Oh my. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Can we talk about how awesome Sulu was in this movie?
Yes.
Sulu was kick ass in this movie. Like,
it's
right
funny that they picked him because him and Kirk hate each other.
I know,
and that was the guy they picked to be the captain of the Excelsior. I was like, wait a minute, they're going to play on-screen best buddies, yet in real life they're worst enemies. Why not pick Chekhov or somebody else? But it worked.
It did, and like right from the very beginning, like when
I'll tell you why they did it actually.
When Praxis exploded,
keep them from being on the same set at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
exactly
Well,
what it was.
Yeah.
Exactly what it was.
That's logical as hell.
So when Praxis explodes, and the one guy's like, "Did we report this?" And he looks at him and goes, "You're kidding me, right?" You're just like, I can totally see a captain doing that to an officer. Like, are you stupid?
By the way, the person who asked him that is the communications officer. It's Janice Rand. Yeah.
Wow. And then later on in the movie where the guy comes to his cabin, he goes, they want to know where any data you have on Enterprise. He goes, tell them we have no idea where it is. And he's like, Captain? Do you have hearing problems, mister?
Yeah,
that
was
scene was specifically written in because Christian Slater wanted to be in the movie.
Christian Slater, man. That's what I was about to say.
Really?
He's like, that's Christian Slater. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah, he
Right?
requested to be in the movie, and they wrote that scene specifically for him.
So George Takei got to yell at Christian Slater.
Yeah.
And that was right when Slater was hitting it big with Pump Up the Volume.
Yeah.
Right around then. So, yeah. He was the kid for sure.
And then the scene between the action scene between that switches between the peace conference, between Chang's ship and the Enterprise, and then the Excelsior, was great. That whole scene, Kirk, where's my damn torpedo? And
The lock and load was a little cringe, but
it was. But and then you've got Sulu, time to intercept. We're not quite there yet. Come on, but she'll fly apart. Fly her apart, then.
I like that line. Fly her apart, then.
Yeah.
I've never seen a starship shake from speed like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool. So now it can be Hammer time. I just wanted to talk about how awesome Sulu was in that movie.
I'm sharing my screen, so I have to do is switch me over and we can go.
Where is it here? Where is the screen for Hammer's screen? There it is. Add to stream. Okay.
Okay. So I will be pausing this as we go.
Okay.
IP said earlier that he wasn't impressed with the graphics. So the first thing I have here is
awesome graphics.
We're talking about the blood and anti-gravity.
You can hear it, right?
Nope.
No, it's not playing. Did you check the share audio button?
There's a share audio button.
Oh.
Oh,
so
you have to is
it has to be in Chrome to share audio.
yeah.
Well, I was using VLC, but I guess I can bring up the file.
Are you sure that it has to be in Chrome?
Yeah.
There's
no checkbox for sharing audio unless you're sharing a Chrome tab.
Okay. Oh, sharing the Chrome tab. Yeah. You're right.
Which kind of sucks. I wish that they would fix that.
Can
you hear it now?
Nope. Still no.
What you're gonna have to do is unshare and then reshare as a Chrome tab if you want the audio shared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure the share audio is checked.
Yeah.
So I click on share screen, share audio, then click on the screen that I'm sharing. And say share, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I did that.
Okay, now Blind Press will put it on the screen. And we should be able to hear it.
Finding. There we go. Please work. There we go.
There we go.
140 degrees Mark 6 port, sir. Visual.
This is awesome graphics right here.
Great. No, this does look great. I agree.
And then the beauty shot with the impact. Bam.
That's great too, man.
Question: why is everybody flying around?
Maybe the gravity got turned off.
No, it's just to convey the violence.
Yeah, doesn't make sense, but okay, we'll forgive it.
It's Hollywood. This is Hollywood.
Listen to the Helm's voice, and then listen to how Sulu says what to do.
Yeah.
She's not answering her helm. Starboard thruster. Turn her into the blade.
Now listen again in Voyager's flashback.
She is not answering the helm. Starboard thrusters. Turn her into the blade. Aye, sir.
So what you're hearing is the difference in the voice is just a totally different voice, and then the way Sulu says what he says is different than two. So they're actually different scenes.
Oh wow! I thought that they just
use the same one over again, right?
Yeah.
No, they actually almost all the scenes are exactly the same except for the CGI. Otherwise, it's all fresh stuff.
Weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, I went back and did some research on that. Okay,
Very
we'll
cool.
keep going.
Thank you.
I don't know whether to congratulate you or not.
Don't. I wouldn't. Yeah.
So from Star Trek.
I don't know whether to congratulate you or not.
I wouldn't. I'm not sure, but I think so. I'm sure.
Same joke, different words.
Yep.
All right, this is something that Costin brought to my attention through, I think, Twitter. Somebody else had done an analysis of this scene, and what the scene is how the camera angles were used. I wanted to do a clip from the TNG that would also show camera angles, but this was already too long. This is 7 minutes, and I'm talking on top of it.
Yeah.
The camera angles here portray the divide between the two men's perspective on what's happening next. They actually use how the camera angles look to generate their emotions and feelings about what they're talking about. You'll notice how as the conversation gets more intense, the camera angles get a lot closer.
We volunteer.
I cut this several times.
There's an old Vulcan proverb. Only Nixon could go to China.
Look at the distance.
Yes.
That's arrogant presumption.
Conveys the distance in their ideologies. Closer.
They're animals, Jim. There is an historic opportunity here. Don't believe.
Closer.
Don't trust them.
Close up. Ultra close up. And then at the end of the scene, you're left with the distance again.
Distance, yeah.
Let them die. Yeah. And you see that distance in the whole movie until the end, basically. When Spock is basically feeling sorry for himself in his quarters. And Kirk comes in and goes, "Hey, stop it." Basically, right? You know, you showed me where I was wrong, basically, what he was saying.
All right, so here's a little bit more humor.
It is agreeable to see you again.
The lieutenant was the first Vulcan to be graduated at the top of her class at the academy. You must be very proud.
I don't believe so, sir.
He's a Vulcan, all right.
Bones gets a lot of the really good lines in this movie as far as jokes are. But there's another scene coming up where he has a very powerful scene. So keep in mind, this is part 1. There will be a part 2 of the history.
Spock says this could be an historic occasion. I'd like to believe. How on earth can history get past people like me?
How can history get past people like me? Key phrase.
You see the buffs?
We'll get back to that in a minute. This is the only place where you're given a hint that these two guys are the assassins.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
they all look alike. What about that smell? You
Burke
know only
and
top
Sam
of the
know.
line models even talk.
You men have work.
Yes, ma'am.
Then snap to it.
And then she comes along and
see, the thing here is that until you've watched the movie all the way through, you don't really realize how relevant that scene is.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Bones' best line of the movie.
We know where this is leading. The annihilation of our culture.
That's not true.
No.
No.
Very powerful. For Bones, who's a pretty easygoing guy, to be that.
Especially.
No, it's not true.
Especially
like, so
the way.
Convicted.
The way and the way that he can he can get downright racist when he wants to. So for him to be like, no, we don't want to take away your culture. We do, this. You're right. That is a pretty powerful line.
Here's the second part of history. I want you to take a look at Kirk's eyes after he makes the point.
If there is to be a brave new one,
Gorkon.
our generation is going to have the hardest time living in it.
See his eyes? He realizes that what he thought when Valeris was outside his cabin is exactly what this guy's saying.
Yeah.
And they agree. He's uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me where I didn't see no Veridian Patch. I don't see no Veridian Patch. I thought it was obvious, but I figured I'd put it in here just so.
They may need a doctor. Perhaps you're right.
Right there.
Tell them we're coming and tell them we're
And he
unarmed.
turns and you can see it.
Yeah. Tell them we're unarmed.
How did you achieve this, sir?
Well, that was like
Spock.
a Spider-Man thing there.
Yeah, Spock doesn't trust Valera.
Nope.
She asks him, "How did you do it?" And he says, "Time."
Time is precious, Lieutenant. We must endeavor to
Didn't
piece
answer
together
her
what
question
happened here.
because he doesn't trust her.
According to our data bank,
Hammer.
this
She comes off as less pragmatic and more like a fucking Romulan. I mean,
She does.
excuse my language, right? That's the vibe I got from her from the get-go, and it's Kim Cattrall too. So hot, sexy woman.
Have you noticed that most of the treacherous Vulcans act more like Romulans?
Mm-hmm.
They are sister species.
Yeah,
so,
but it's like
yeah.
they're
not that far removed.
Yeah, they're devious in similar ways, right?
I have to agree with you on the sexiness of all the Vulcans. I think even with the girl from Enterprise,
T'Pol, yeah.
T'Pol, yeah, I still think that Kim Cattrall just blew them all away. She's hot,
fired those torpedoes.
No way.
I sympathize
even with
with
the
you.
full haircut.
Porkies, man.
Need evidence.
Here's an interesting point. For a long time, I thought she was talking about the Dutch when she said wooden shoes. She's not. The word sabot is actually French.
French, yeah.
And she was talking about the French people. I looked this up. That's pretty loud. Jeez, that's loud.
We're to report back at once.
We cannot abandon Captain Cunning.
She never says French, though.
Of course not. 400 years ago on the planet Earth, workers who felt their livelihood threatened by automation
French workers.
flung their wooden shoes called sabots into the machines to stop them. Hence the word sabotage.
I put this in, and then I forgot why I put it in, so I left it in. I don't know why.
I like because right after she says that, they have this humorous thing where she goes, "Oh, our equipment seems to be malfunctioning. We can't communicate." And Chekhov goes, "Oh, too bad. I mean," or "Oh, good. I mean, oh, that's too bad."
Only thing I can think of was that it was a great shot, a great visual effect shot. And Scotty was upset. Those are the only two reasons I think I put this in there.
Hold.
That's a great shot, man.
This Enterprise. We fired.
That is not possible. All weapons visually accounted for.
That's probably the best model of a D7 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
And I like how Jimmy Doohan portrays it, because as an engineer, right? If you've got records that say your ship fired something, but you've got visuals on your on a visual inventory of your weapons, you're gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Yep.
And he does a great. He's like, there's no way my ship, because that's how he views the Enterprise.
Oh yeah.
There's no way my ship did that. That's where Scotty's coming from here. There's no way my ship did that.
So there's two parts of this next scene. Note Kirk's reaction after he kicks the alien in the knee. The look on his face.
Yeah.
And then at the
funny.
end, at the end of the scene, there's a couple of lines that were not in the script. Look at Kirk's face.
He's like, oh, thank God, right?
What?
Oh.
That worked? Oh, you poor guy. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
That's a comfort. I was lucky that thing had knees.
that was not his knee.
The next couple lines are not in the script.
Not everybody keeps their
That one is.
genitals in the same place, Captain.
These two are not.
Anything you want to tell me?
Those two scenes were ad-libbed. Her smile was genuine because I saw the rest of that and they all start cracking up. I put this in because it sounded dirty.
I'm finished. No! Hold! I'm wearing a Veridian patch on my back. Spock slapped it there just before we went on Gorkin's ship. Why, that cunning little Vulcan.
I think they tried to get something past the censors there.
Yeah.
All right, here's the biggest continuity issue I had. I saw this at the theater. I was like, wait, that's wrong. And every time I watch the movie, I come to this point, and I'm like, here it comes. I hate this fucking part. This is where Kirk is fighting Kirk, and he's knocked out cold. Look at where they are. He's in his Jesus Christ position, and the two Kirks are at his feet. Watch the very next scene. They roll across him from arm to arm. That's not where they were. They were at his feet rolling towards him.
That's weird.
And then he covers himself. You saw him cover himself when they rolled over him, but he never gets back up. He remains awake and lying on the ground for no apparent reason.
Maybe he's just cold.
We never get to hear what was said here, but I think this is where Kirk is asking Spock if she could be complicit, if she was capable for a Vulcan to lie or to intentionally deceive. I cut this up a little bit.
Can I talk to you?
Because there's something supposed to happen between those two scenes right there. But I cut them out.
It's possible.
It's possible. You were speaking earlier about Vulcan anger.
Yeah.
Nimoy didn't want to do this scene.
Oh, really?
He was talked into it. He didn't want to do the hand slap.
Yeah, sure.
I got cut there.
Want to.
For time.
Want is irrelevant. What you've chosen is at hand. The operation is over.
I cut that up pretty severely, but it got the point across. Here's another continuity thing, but it's not a visual continuity. It's vocal continuity or script continuity. That's the problem.
They killed your son. Did you not wish Gorkon dead? Let them die, you said. Did I misinterpret you?
Now, when he said "let them die," who was in the room when he said that?
Spock, not her.
And him.
Yeah, not her.
So how did she know about that?
Yeah, really. Maybe she bugged him. Some kind of.
No,
Was she outside his door?
No, not
This
not
took
in
place-
that scene.
Yeah, this took place inside the Federation Council chamber between Spock.
Oh,
and
that's
Kirk.
right.
That's right.
So a bug inside the council chamber? Probably not. How did she know? She would have to have read one of their two minds during a Vulcan mind meld, which she didn't do. He read hers. She didn't read his.
Yeah.
So how did she know that?
No, you're right. That is a continuity.
Yeah. This is the final clip. I put this in because I like the way Scotty says this. And that's a beautiful beauty shot.
My God, that's a big ship.
Not so big as her captain, I think.
I like that.
Stunning and brave.
Actually stunning.
Had one other thing to say about the word sabotage does not come from throwing shoes into the works. You do know that, right? It does not come from that at all. That is not the etymology of that word.
So where does it come from?
Sabot shoes mean to walk noisily or clumsily, to do things clumsily. And so if you do something clumsily, that was the original meaning of the word sabotage. And then to do it willfully, clumsily, to delay production, for example, that was the original meaning of the word sabotage. It's just a word that has evolved in meaning, but it had nothing to do with throwing sabots into the gears. That is a modern day transposition of throwing a spanner in the works. That comes from the Luddite movement, which they really did do. They took spanners and threw them in the gearing machines of the Scottish the machinery in early industrialized Scotland. That did happen, but that never happened with the sabots, the shoes in France. That's not where the word sabotage comes from. So
I did a Google search on sabotage etymology.
Yeah.
And it says earliest 20th century from French for saboteur, kick with sabots, willfully destroy with sabot. That's what it says.
Yeah, willfully destroy with sabot. But that might mean to it's not throwing the sabot into a works. It might be taking a piece of glass and taking the wooden shoe and stomping on it. But it was not throwing it into works. That they did not throw them into works. They did not sacrifice their shoes that way. They might have stomped on them that way with their wooden shoes. But it has to do with clumsiness and slow down of work. I promise you that's the etymology of that word. And I don't use Wikipedia for any of my etymology. I mean, I look at Rand McNally. Yeah, look at Oxford or look at.
That is from the Oxford Dictionary.
Well, okay. Well, all right.
It just says definition.
Maybe
from
I'm
Oxford
wrong.
Language.
Maybe I'm wrong. All right. I think I can provide you if I cared, I
was
could
gonna say,
provide
are we
you.
really gonna spurg out on the definition of sabotage right now?
Here's the thing.
I just looked it up on Google.
Let me just explain.
He brought it up, man.
Let me
Right?
explain it. Let me explain it to you. People who had shoes that were carved from wood would not have thrown them and sacrificed probably the only pair of shoes that they had in the 16th century and 17th century. They didn't do that. Okay, so that's not where that comes from. It's a transposition of throwing a spanner in the works. And I've seen that written in a number of places. People who've done a lot more research on it than I have.
Right.
Like I said, if I cared, I could probably back that up even more. But you do have the Oxford Dictionary with. They can be wrong too. There's inaccuracies in Oxford Dictionary too.
So moving on.
I just don't think that's true.
Scab, man. I know what you're saying there, bro.
I just don't think that's right because I've seen too much stuff to the contrary, and I've actually looked that up and studied it in the past. And did some pet peeve of mine.
Is there anything else about the Undiscovered Country we wanted to mention? I like those clips, by the way, Hammer. Good.
Thank you.
Good
Yeah, that was really amazing, Howard. That was a lot of work, and thank you for doing that. That was
no problem.
Marvelous.
Hopefully, everyone in chat and who are watching this enjoyed it as well. And the next movie we do, everyone's happy to send me timestamps and stuff like that, and I'll include your name along with the clip and let you explain it when we get to that point.
Sounds good. And the next movie is Generations. And I might
maybe I spoke too soon.
I might be the only person who actually likes this movie. I mean, I don't love
you may be right.
yeah, but Kirk died.
And Pincolo actually I'll bring that up next week because Pincolo actually tells me something that I didn't know about Kirk's death.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah,
a teaser for next week, folks.
Yes,
you're teased.
You're getting really good at running these YouTube channel thingies.
Thank you.
Tune in next week.
Tomorrow we have the Blind and the Special at 10 p.m. Eastern, of course. There's my Instagram, which is linked in the description, my Twitch, which is linked in the description, everybody's Twitter, which is linked in the description, and Irate, do you have an accelerated deconstruction tonight?
Yes, we do. And we're going to be looking at educating K through 12 with what's really Marxism, but it's the BLM stuff. It's BLM teaching materials.
Awesome.
For New York, this 2020 school season.
Sounds amazing.
Okay.
And who do you have tomorrow?
Tomorrow will be none other than the one and only Sanguine Mahmahan.
Nice, Magavan.
I don't know how to pronounce his name either, man.
Magavan.
Sanguine. That's how.
Sanguine. You're gonna have Sanguine. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and I got coming up, Lady Monkey.
Oh, right. Nice.
Yeah.
And of course, Minions of the Zoo tonight at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, and the coffee stream will be starting up within the next couple of weeks as well. So, yay!
Right.
Thank you everyone for watching, and have an awesome rest of your evening.
Bye, guys.
Beautiful thing.